So, same Brahman has given all this energy that allowing you to evolve, and the downward energy that is dumping you down. All have come from the same source. But since you are Brahman, you must realize you have the key to stop your downward grade. And that key becomes available to you as you begin to live your life with satsanga, with a plan of integral yoga in life. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yoga Vasishtha, Upasama Prakarana, section 35 continues. Prahlada is expressing his insight, providing for spiritual aspirants the practice of affirmation for spiritual enlightenment. When the self is seen, all is seen. Human mind always wants to see everything. Nothing should remain hidden. And you go on doing that from life to life. And still things to be seen are never exhausted. So, how to be free from this craving to see everything? To see term means to know. Nothing should be hidden from your view. There should be no secrecy in the entire universe. The soul has that instinct, the soul. The soul is Satchidananda. So essentially, the soul is the reality behind all. And to give you a very simple way to understand, when you are dreaming, in your dream, you have lots of things to do, lots of things to accomplish, lots of things to see. But resolve all that to your personality lying on the bed. That personality is the one has become everything in that dream. So why not know that personality? And you know everything about it. The entire dream has been assimilated with a belching sound. Done in a humorous way, but that's the most profound point. That's what mind has to grasp. What is wisdom? Wisdom is not collecting all types of knowledge, because you must realize every knowledge you collect is based upon your conditioned mind. All the knowledge you can collect through Google, all that knowledge is not absolute. Few years later, with greater progress, same Google will give you different answers. So, similarly, expecting a full satisfaction of your intellectual thirst, that always happens. The soul in every embodiment goes after it. But that doesn't understand that even if all your intellectual thirst is brought to you, firstly, all cannot be brought to you. Sun can be counted, it's only one. But reflections you can't count. There are endless reflections. Sunlight is simple, but refracted light creates lots of phenomena. So anything that you know through your conditioned mind is refracted wisdom. Wisdom is like the sun. So how to allow your mind to be so spiritually embellished that it can focus on who am I? What is my reality? The I am is the central nucleus behind your mental process. Central factor. So ultimately come down to inquiry into who am I? Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. For the sake of self, all the knowledge that you are gathering seems to be comfortable, meaningful, with value. But what is really value is your own self, because all that you are trying to do to satisfy me. But all the satisfaction that you are going after is by an act of meowing. This is mine, this is mine. It's a tremendous illusion. When you realize the self, when self is seen not in the way world is seen, by your senses, by your concepts, by your conditioned mind, but seen like awakening. When you wake up, then the entire dream has no meaning at all. All sums up not even for a needle point. When the self is heard, all that is needed to be heard is heard. When the self is touched, all is touched. When the self is realized, the mystery of creation is fully explored. Now we have to also understand now, as you study more and more Swadhyaya, the statement, when self is known, all is known, in the beginning is just one line. Self is known, all is known. That's Vedanta. No. But if you study properly and do your sadhana, then you begin to understand when the self is known, all your duties are done. Every individual has fivefold duties called rid, 5 debts to be paid. Debt to God, because He created all this. Debt to rishis, sages, debt to your forefathers, debt to humanity, human beings, debt to birds and animals. Your duties are in many directions. And living your life, which duty to be done? How should you make your life purposeful? Your mind creates countless distractions. And you go after one after another. Let me have money enough to pay my debt. I'm just joking, but the idea is you can never fulfill all these debts. You can never meet with people whom you have hurt and ask forgiveness or settle your bitterness towards them. All this and you cannot serve someone who passed away. But there is one answer. When the self is known, all is known. When you are moving towards God, all debts are paid. That doesn't mean shouldn't I pay my debts? No. From practical point of view, your life will be most active, most dynamic, most qualitative. Your inner heart is simply going towards God. Simple illustration, in a dark room, so many things you are imagining, so many shadows have created their own terror. Open the window. All that you have to accomplish regarding so many things that have developed in your room, that light solves the whole problem. So allow the light of God, the light of wisdom, Aham Brahmasmi, express in your heart. And it has 3 stages. 𝐔𝐩𝐚𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐿 𝐿. While busy with your physical body and physical realities, feel that there is a loving master and you are in his hand. And thank God, all the worry of the world he has to carry. I have to carry what he wants me to do. And he has the responsibility to take after it, look after it. So that is it. 𝐤𝑒𝑣𝑎𝑏𝑢𝑑𝑑𝑦𝑎 𝑡𝑣𝑎𝑚𝑠ℎ𝑎𝑘𝑎ℎ. Coming to deeper level, you are a soul that has come from life to life. Now, as soul, I'm a ray, an ansh, a ray, and God is like a sun. Now you have another profound comfort, more than being just in the master's hand. You are a ray. You are his nose. You are his eyes. You are his toes. Giving you a simple way to understand. Otherwise, ray doesn't give you too much idea. You are inseparably related to God. Now allow that to enter your mind and stay more and more, give more room to that. What type of strength can you have if you have that type? In your meditation, in your sadhana, develop that you are similar to God. You are in the competing stage. You aspire to be like God. And you are going to be because God has no choice. You are inseparably related. And he is happy. The more godly quality comes, the more you sit closer to God, and the more he pets your head. And the more both of you smile with each other. 𝑎𝑡ْمَ 𝑏ُddhْयात् go to the climax now. All separation dissolves. Separation from God is a mental illusion. How can you separate yourself from the very light source that is constantly leading you on? How can anyone separate oneself from God even for a single moment? How can your computer separate itself from the energy that goes into it? So, no matter how you may feel through your brain and nervous system, the real you is that absolute self, Aham Brahmasmi. These 3 aspects have to be brought into your daily life. And that is called integral yoga. It touches your karma action, action becomes karma yoga. Touches your feelings, sentiments, and they become sublimated into bhakti movement. It touches your willing aspect of the mind, and it corrects what to will and what not to will. And jnana, that reveals the reality in every individual. For the sake of self, you love everything. But then what is that self? Not the body, not the mind, not the intellect, not the ego. That self is Brahman. And that realization, Brahman alone exists. That's the climax. The self is ever awake, even in those who continue to slumber in the dark night of ignorance. Simple point to understand. Those who are gripped by avidya, ignorance, they are not aware of the practical reality, the divine reality. Divine reality is like daylight. Ignorance has put you in a dark night. And when you are in the dark state, you have no idea of the light. But even though you don't have the idea of the light is there. It strikes the ignorant with afflictions, but relieves the miseries of those who tread the path of virtue and wisdom. Now, same the divine source. All energy comes from the divine source. Simple way to understand. All electrical energy comes from FPL. But FPL is not responsible if you don't know how to handle electricity that has gone into a riot, in a turmoil. So once the same electrical source, when it creates a lot of turmoil in your house, it's your error. You are unable to handle it correctly. But nevertheless, the source is the electrical source, the same source. God is the same source. To remind you of Vedantic simple, subtle points which is the foundation of Vedantic study. Brahman alone exists. Prakriti is Brahman's magical power. Prakriti takes three shapes. Sattva predominating is called Maya. And more precisely, it is Vidya, knowledge aspect. Sattva predominating, the Brahman through Sattva predominating expresses in the form of Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and all that path of knowledge that brings enlightenment to people. Same Brahman through Rajas predominating Prakriti is avidya. Rajas predominating is avidya, ignorance. Now Brahman's process has become short-circuited through avidya. Same Brahman has now, through avidya, created countless souls. Every soul goes through a turmoil. And same Brahman, through tamas predominating, tamasi prakriti, has become all the matter. Matter, not only the gross matter, but matter includes even your ego, intellect, senses, vital forces. All these are matter. And this entire matter plan, what type of body should you have, what type of senses should you have, what type of mind, what type of intellect, what type of ego, all planned by nature, tamasi prakriti. For allowing the soul to evolve, move away from avidya, ignorance, come to enlightenment, vidya, switching the steps from ignorance to knowledge. So, same Brahman has given all this energy that allowing you to evolve, and the downward energy that is dumping you down. All have come from the same source. But since you are Brahman, you must realize you have the key to stop your downward grade. And that key becomes available to you as you begin to live your life with satsanga, with a plan of integral yoga in life. Be good, do good, and all that. Same Brahman grants the desires of devotees and leads aspirants to the state of self-realization. It is the self that wears beautiful clothes, joins festive parties, enjoys numerous objects, and passes through numerous embodiments. All that happens is nothing but the self. Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagat. Not only what happens to you, but all that you touch and see, all is nothing but Brahman. When you were dreaming, all things that you saw were nothing but yourself. But while you dream, you could never grasp it. But when you wake up, you are not even surprised. This is the role of ignorance. It doesn't allow you to understand how so many things went on and was so real, and yet nothing was real. Same applies in your daily life. All you experience, even a little headache, is very real. And yet, wake up and you are not the body. I am the self. Just as the sky is untouched by clouds, the lotus untouched by water, rocks unaffected by fear and sorrow. In the same way, I am untouched by the clouds of mental distractions, untouched by the waters of attachment, unaffected by the sorrows of the world. Highly poetic, but covered a very big range. This is a world of lot of moha-based, deluded love, which is like water. And everyone gets drenched by this deluded love, or call it attachment. But then I am untouched by this delusion. How? Because you are the lotus. Lotus petals hold water only to shake it off. The water doesn't stay permanently with it. Illustration, you may go on arguing, oh, there is water inside. This is illustration, allegorical. You don't go after allegorical illustration. The simple point, Om Mani Padme Om, that's what the whole Buddhist mantra came in. You are just a shining drop on a lotus leaf or lotus petal. Attain nirvana, the lotus, it has dropped into the ocean. Lotus is ever free. Fear and sorrow are like big storms, but you are like a rock. Khada Himalaya bata raha hai. Himalaya, mountain. The mountain Himalaya is not afraid. Now, all the monsoon reports, rather the weather reports, the big wind is coming. Himalaya has nothing to do with it. And mental distractions are like clouds, but you are like the sky. Though forming an integral part of a lamp, the flame transcends the lamp, its oil, its wick, and its confinement. In its luminous state, cannot be tied or fettered even by the strongest of ropes. In the same manner, the vision of the self arising out of the striving aspirant transcends the confine of the body, karma, and desires, and becomes a shining essence behind all that exists, ever free from all forms of bondage. This profound illustration and very symbolic meaning. Every temple, all over the world, all religious practices require flame. Old style example is a lamp, which has 3 stages: oil, wick, and the flame. Oil, when you are enlightened state is the state of flame. That state cannot be compared with the source. It is not like the lamp, it is not like the oil, it has nothing to do with the wick. The enlightened state is light. But that light proceeds from the lamp set. Put it more in a subtle, simple way to understand. 3 gunas are there: tamas, rajas, and sattva. Tamas acts as oil. Rajas oil begins to flow through the wick. The flowing movement through the wick, that's rajas. If you are a spiritual aspirant, all this is happening in a spontaneous way. Your tamas is being channelized, awakened into rajas. But rajas has a direction. And it comes to a state of allowing sattva to become dynamic. That means flame occurs. Early stage, in order to secure the flame, you have got to go on trimming the wick. Your wick here becomes the ego. And if you go on trimming the ego, you make the ego free of egoism. Simple ego, humble ego doesn't obstruct. Now, what has happened? Light, that's the real you, shines. But even while you are shining, from practical point of view, you are holding all these stages. You are helping those who are in tamas. You are helping those who are progressing. You are helping those who are to trim their egoism. And outshining all, you are the light of light. Figure out this profound simile. And we are celebrating Diwali. That was the Diwali message. I am ever free. What have I to do with karmas, desires, and limited senses. Your advanced state, recognizing who am I. If you ask the sky, are you worried whether the clouds will be coming to you or not? Do you feel lonely? And suppose they come and create a lot of havoc. Cloud has nothing to do with it. The sky has nothing to do with it. So that sky stage is the reality in every individual. Reality behind every wave is the ocean. Reality behind all this world is Brahman. I am that. So that I am has nothing to do with it. But when your I am has become conditioned through your mind and has become ego and gotten a car, aham car. That car is a dangerous car. Aham goes into mayhem, led by aham car. Now, just remind you, in the Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, comes a parable, allegorical setting, Dva Suparna Savija Sakhaya, the big people tree. The whole world process can big tree. And there are two birds on it, only two. And they look exactly like Swasuparana Sayuja. Exact dress, exact everything. And they are great friends. They cannot be separate. But one of them goes on eating and not aware of the friend that's up there. Goes on eating and vomiting and eating and vomiting. Lot of digestive trouble. Goes on and on. But there comes a time when this bird looks up, just a little straightening the head. Turtle pose. And sees bird and begin to recognize the bird is, he is a reflection of that bird. You are just a shadow of that bird. And if that bird is calm and relaxed, why should I have to go after all these fruits? So now your eyes become so drawn to that. Your vision becomes so focused on the discovery of I am. First stage, to move away from all karmas. Your goal is not to find somewhere a fruit of that peepal tree and then go chewing on it and vomiting it. That stage, you are completely free of that. Now, while you are coming to that stage, you simply disappear. That one reality, the real bird alone exists. And the entire people tree vanishes. Scriptures have given a lot of illustrations and quite interesting way of presenting. So what have I to do with karma? Karma is very interesting for every soul. They go to astrologers, work very hard, what karma has got, and what type of karma is now coming to fructify and all that. In an advanced stage of connecting yourself with God, which becomes effective when you develop devotion to God, love of God. bhakti. So Prahlada has developed bhakti, and bhakti has become supreme bhakti, para-bhakti. And para-bhakti and absolute jnana are one and the same. So Prahlada is one side, he is speaking devotional language. Oh Lord Vishnu, you are everything, I have surrendered. Another side, I am Lord Vishnu. I alone exist. So both types of statements come in the same section. Body can be torn to pieces, but the self is ever indestructible. And that's simple fact. Body does not mean just torn to pieces, torn to atoms, cells, even while you are alive. And every day it goes on happening. Body is completely not a reliable friend at all. But while all that goes on, you are untouched. But if you become more grown up, then you view even death in the same process. Just like your body changes, and you don't have the body with which you were born. And every 7 years, practically, you have a new body. And you don't go after looking for what happened to the old ones. If you are mature, you don't go after looking for what was my previous incarnation. Where is my body buried? What happened to it? Just like changes occur and you hardly do it. Then you take it all with a smile. Enlightened mind takes even the statement of death with an inner smile. Outwardly, body has its own way. Outwardly, there will be same suffering, same torture. Inwardly, nothing. Relaxed. Nothing, we're not losing anything. And to make people understand you're not losing anything, not gaining anything, keeps your hands out like the dying person keeps the hands open. A pot can be broken to pieces, but the space, ether in the pot, cannot be broken. Nature presents enjoyments. The mind accepts them. And the body suffers from the miseries resulting from those enjoyments. This is the description of ajnana. When you are under ignorance, then you are depending upon nature, Prakriti, depending upon the mind, depending upon your senses. And all that you are experiencing, the enjoyments that you are getting, this big trap. Because you are never fulfilled, no matter how much prosperity, how much enjoyment. You cannot say, now I have everything, I'm finished. I'm ready to fly to heaven. Nobody says that. You are waiting for love more. So enjoyments never quench your thirst. They go on keeping your thirst more renewed. Krishnana jirna vayameva jirna. You age, but your craving sits on your neck. Youth ends. So that's the ignorance. If ignorance grips your mind, that's the description. If ignorance doesn't grip your mind and knowledge begins to move, then you begin to understand, what have I to do with karmas? God is my source. Surrender to God. Look at God. Talk to God. Love God. And disappear in God. Merge in God. The self apparently becomes involved in the world through its illusory identification with body. When proper inquiry is practiced, when you practice vichar, that's what Prahlada is presenting. Vichar with affirmation that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am Brahman. And all things that shine in the world is the shine of Brahman. All virtues that make you feel gracious, they radiate from Brahman. And the ultimate experience of immense joy is your soul that has been like a reflected sun, now is free from the status of being reflected. That's called communion. What have I to do with the pleasures of the senses? Again, pleasures of the senses. Even for adult mind, one has to understand all pleasures are tickling down your nerves. Sometimes a cozy group of monkeys, each one tickles the. And they feel so happy about it. All sense pleasures are the magical play of your nervous system. If your goal is nervous system, that is a very childish way of understanding yourself. Good food, what has it done? Tickled your nerves through your tongue. If you were a camel, you, you will need thorns. Thorns will tickle them more than rasgullas. So, how do your senses tickle you? That depends upon your vasanas. What becomes so enjoyable to one is not enjoyable by another person. And that's the world of absolute kiddie stage, kindergarten. From getting out of that trap, that's your growing process. First stage, handle that with a purpose. Handle that with the purpose of outgrowing the tickling stage. Because one day you are going to lose it. Your brain will not be the same healthy state. So if your world was based on pleasures of the senses, you are facing a tremendous sorrow, darkness. So even while you are facing the world of senses, come to your senses. Develop vairagya, develop sattvic happiness. Even while this pleasure comes through the senses, but it is in line with allowing your mind to clear up a cloud and let the ray of sun come into it. It is allowing the same pleasure, though it begins at the stage of senses, but opening an inner source and giving you the idea of this happiness. Food that you are eating, through your tongue, it is enjoyable. Your mind, touched by divine wisdom, feels that enjoyment coming from God. So you are taking it as God's prasad. It comes from the divine temple, Badriyat. Therefore, it is very tasty. So now I must receive inspiration more and more from the art. They have the best prasad. I'm joking, but try to understand subtle quiet behind. Every pleasure that you experience touches you, directs your attention to the source. God is shining through the eyes of this baby. God is shining through people who are loving around you. That type of movement. Now, this is real humanity. Otherwise, the animality. Let the conditions of prosperity and adversity continue to alternate. The experience of prosperity and adversity is in terms of your nervous system. Certain situation, good cushions, luxurious settings. Who is experiencing your senses? And senses, experience of senses are based on your nervous system. It's a nerve titillation. All jubilation is nothing but nerve titillation. So don't stay trapped with your nervous system. Real you is far beyond the nerves. So let the conditions of prosperity and adversity, they are the interpretations led by your nervous system. The real interpretation has to come from your mature understanding. So what seems like prosperity or adversity, you have nothing to do with it. How can they affect me, who am like the ocean of fullness? 𝐘𝐽 Let numerous desires of the mind drift in the vastness of the self. Now all the desires that used to be so important, they have become clouds in the sky. And you are the sky. And previously you were a piece of the sky trapped by clouds, rolling along with the clouds. When I'm describing, you must realize the sky never becomes small. It's an illusion. But if you are watching it, you see a little portion of the sky trapped by clouds all over. And when for a childish mind, oh, that sky is so miserable. The clouds are grabbed it and they are racing with it. But from that state of illusion, discover you are the sky. It is the clouds that are at the mercy of the sky. And they will come and go. The sky remains unaffected. All the projections will continue to create a lot of cinema show, thousands of them. The screen remains untarnished, untainted, unaffected. I am that state, pure consciousness, screen-like. Let numerous desires of the mind drift in the vastness of the sky. Now the desires that were like clouds covering the sun and blocking the sky, that was the state of ignorance. Now all the desires have become those drifting clouds. And subtle point. Now you can allow those clouds to bring rain, allow people to grow their vegetation, sugandhim pushti vardhanam. And even though you are engaged in all the good clouds and all that, you are absolutely not doer anything over just the sky. And with this I will conclude it. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.